Welcome to Philly Coco Presents Side Project Spotlight, episode 108. This is a developer's journey into making cool stuff. I'm Kotaro.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are Philly Coco, a Philadelphia-based Coco Heads community focused on Apple development that primarily, but not exclusively, means iOS, Mac, tvOS, watchOS, and visionOS development. Philly Coco's true desire is to take you higher on your own developer journey. Whew, all right.
Nice.
Very nice. Okay, so what should we talk about today? I should mention there has been some news that's just come out. Maybe it was yesterday. 26.4 has been released on all the Apple platforms, iOS, Mac, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Have you downloaded it? Have you experienced the joy that is this pretty chunky update, I must say?
I have. In fact, I did macOS update too. And
yes,
it is
same.
chunky. So I was doing the macOS update on a laptop today, and it's I thought it got stuck preparing. So I stopped it and restarted it, and it wasn't stuck. It just really took that long.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was weird, but yeah, I haven't installed it. I've explored it a little bit on my iPhone. Number one, greatest thing about it, the keyboard seems to work now. So, thank you.
What was the problem with the keyboard before?
I think there was multiple problems. It would just not type what you wanted it to type when you were trying to type fast.
Yeah,
I don't know because people had different explanations of what the problem might have been, but it was just so infuriating, and it's been like this for a while. You try to type and it would just not work, and I don't know if it was autocorrect or something else or a combination of things. It just seems much better now. Like just typing, I'm not being immediately annoyed and constantly backtracking and fixing things. Did you notice that at all? I mean, I text a lot.
I actually did notice it. But yeah, I don't get as quickly agitated by it, partially because I don't like to type a lot.
What do you just do? Just talk to your phone?
No.
Worse though, it's even less accurate.
Right. I'm not hip like these kids, and like I'm not constantly typing and text messaging friends and colleagues and stuff. So because I use a keyboard.
Use a keyboard. Yeah. What else is in here? The other thing I looked at was the music app changes, where we were talking about it before the show. The concerts. I haven't played with the make your own playlist thing, but the concerts thing I was interested in because I go to a lot of like local shows, and I was like when we started the show, before we started recording, I couldn't find it in the app because I don't understand what's happening over there, but the music app has gotten so bloated or whatever that stuff's hidden now. Like where is it? It's not a tab. You have to like scroll down really far on the home to maybe find it as just one of the horizontal lines. If you're lucky, I think if you go to search, you can find it in the top of the search as concerts. It's like the top thing to put in there, but it's not. There's no real obvious canonical location in the app for this, which is weird. I don't know. I mean, is it? I guess I'm supposed to treat it like it's a genre or something. Because that's how it's implemented. It's confusing. Once you get to it, though, it works pretty well, I guess. It's only showing me. It is showing me one local band that I know that I play a lot, but it's not showing me a lot.
Once you get to it, what is it? So you can get tickets from this app.
You can buy tickets from it?
Yeah. It says here, get tickets, and then from there, it takes you either to bands in town and then e-tix.
See, I was wondering where they got their data from, and I bet it is from bands in town, because I once, years ago, looked at building this exact kind of feature for something, and Bands in Town was like about the only game in town. I think they had an API or something you could use.
Yeah, apparently you can play the music of said band. So I guess it's kind of a way to like.
So it's picking up the fact that I have favorite bands based on my play history, including like a local band, and it's showing that local band's concerts, but it's not showing like it's showing some bands that I know, but not all the bands. It's not showing all the concerts. It's not showing the show I'm going to this weekend. I don't know, because I don't know. Maybe it's not. It's the venue. I don't know. So it's not perfect by any means, but it is interesting that it surfaces this stuff.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. It's not.
What I'm saying is like my main listening habit is local bands. It's not actually big names. So the fact that it is providing some extra value, I think, for a band to put their music in on the streaming services. Now, they're going to probably do it anyway, but sometimes bands will be like, go to my, like, was it Bandcamp or something you could buy the music from, one of those other websites? Like, I'll buy my single there because they'll make a lot more money than obviously the streams. And so I don't think it's not like anybody's not going to put stuff on the streaming services, but it's nice that it adds a little bit more value in trying to show people that there's live stuff, because that's how you can make any kind of money anymore as a live band. If someone licenses your music, otherwise it's live shows, people buying merch and stuff. So at least it does that. I don't think it's going to, move the needle or anything, but it is convenient that it's in there. I don't know if Spotify has something similar. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not a Spotify user, so I don't know what they do, but it's nice that they're trying. I mean, I've always thought Apple was a big supporter of music, and it's nice that they are trying to make the music app even more useful to you, the end user, and also, I think, as a side effect, more useful to some of the bands. I don't know. I'm always looking for any hint, any crumbs for the local musicians that I can find and just latch onto with a little hope that the music will not die.
I will say you are probably the only person I know. Well, maybe not the only person, but one of the people I know that does go out and see local bands much more frequently than I would ever imagine anybody going to. But what is it about what is about the local scene that you like so much?
Well, I mean, I started photographing it, so it's nice. That's nice. It's something to do. I know the local scenes because you can make friends with people. You can you meet people. They're accessible. They're from a practical standpoint, it's cheaper.
Yes,
yes, and it's also at more interesting venues. If you're a big name artist, you're gonna have a venue. You need to go to a venue that has a big, capacity. I go to venues that are in between really small and 400-ish. Okay. And so you can have kind of a mix of that size, and that's a pretty good variety. And it's nice to sometimes I'll go someplace just people I know, maybe they'll do an acoustic act, 1 or 2 person acoustic act, like an Irish bar or something. I was like, oh, I'll check out this bar. I did that a while back, and I had a really good shepherd's pie, and I had a Guinness ice cream drink. It was a Guinness with ice cream float. Yeah. See, you're making this gross face. It was great.
I just never thought of the combination.
Well, I didn't eat them at the same time. One was dessert, but
so it wasn't like a Guinness float type thing.
It was a Guinness float. It was ice cream.
Oh, it was a Guinness float
in the beer, which I never had. So it's that was a nice little. And then other things, I'll go to major, I'll go to concerts at Broken Goblet, I'm going to on Saturday, and I'll photograph it. I just edited photos from September for a band that was touring. It was not a local band. It was a band I never heard of, but it was they had an opening act that was local, and then the big band came through, and I just went through those photos, and I had some really cool photos. And so that's the other reason I like it, because the places I go to, I can photograph, I can get cool music photography, and I don't have to go through a lot of the rigmarole you have to go to the bigger venues.
Yeah.
And then it's mostly those. Just I like the scene. I like the people. I want to support them. And there's just so many interesting musicians and artists and types of music that you just don't hear if you're just listening to the top charts on Spotify. And I know they're human beings because I could see them in the flesh. So I know they're not AI generated slop I'm listening to, which is also a bonus nowadays. I'm telling you, man, we're entering an age where I think people will increasingly crave some kind of knowledge that this is a real person, some kind of verification, and there's nothing more verifiable than a person live on stage.
I mean, just the authenticity of it all, right?
Yes, the authenticity is the word I was looking for.
I mean, maybe that's I don't know if I would actually think of it as the right word, but it's just more you can feel that connection, that human connection versus it goes back to what we talked about before, right? Where even if it's great art or generated art, and you go, oh, this is really cool, but the moment you find out it was auto-generated or it was
it loses
generated,
something,
there's something lost in that. You just go, the intention feels off, or it just feels lazy.
Yeah, I think some of that will probably dissipate with time and as it becomes more normalized, but
I mean, it feels already normalized in my LinkedIn, my LinkedIn feed is just slop, slop, and I'm why am I even bothering anymore?
I use a so-called AI generated art for certain things, if I need to make a thumbnail or something. But it's for perfunctory. It's for things. It's for Like,
I mean,
it's for like a sign, for something. It's for like a thumbnail. It's not. I think there's a line, and it's fuzzy about where you'd want to like a human artist or not. But I do think there's a whole category of stuff that it would either be this, which is better than anything I could do personally, or nothing.
I think
Like, I've used it for things I would never hire someone for anyway.
I think of it closer to like stock art. Probably
Yeah,
less
it's like
of
stock
like
art. That's
it's like
exactly
one
right.
level.
Yeah.
Oh, you're about to say, Aaron?
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's like one level higher than stock
replacement
art.
for stock photos.
Probably more like one level lower, but
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like one.
and it's not in terms of quality. Like, I don't get me wrong. Like, I feel like the level of quality is equal in that sense of like pseudo effort. But like the at least I know with stock art, like there was a moment in time for which then they actually decided that this goofy looking dude doing the angry face on the computer, that was that was a good photo for which then that's going to be used in some news site somewhere. Whereas like now, the way I look at it is like, if you're one of the things I think I thought of as I was going through this idea of like, oh well, maybe if somebody does this and it leads that person, like they generate this thing and they make this storybook or this whatever, and it leads to that thing that maybe because they did it and they were like, like this is fun, maybe I can do it myself, and that will encourage them to do it themselves, right? To actually try to make the art by hand. Yeah.
So, I look at it.
Oh,
Aaron.
Go ahead, Aaron.
No, so the question is like, if you see this on a website where it was like the choice is the AI generated art or nothing, which is better?
I guess it depends.
In your blog post, it's like you need an image to like catch people's eye, and it's
it's weird.
Would you rather have an obnoxious AI generated image or no image?
Well, if it's obnoxious, and probably no image, but it doesn't have to be obnoxious.
I feel like the original Gastown article, right, where like he
with the artwork,
with the AI artwork. I was like, you know what? For this particular article, for this particular context, all the AI generated stuff, it made sense because of the obnoxiousness of it. And it's just like, yeah, just go all in. Just go all in on this whole like absurdity of this idea. But since you've mentioned Gastown, pseudo segue here, I was thinking, and I need both of your help to understand the full context. So we all know OpenClaw, right? And we have a general sense of how it works, right? Yes, that is we're looking at an image of some. Is that the Gastown?
This is the Gastown. This is like on Medium. This is article, and I just picked this one randomly, but I just noticed when I blew it up that up at the top there's like a little hawk, and he's a thought bubble says it's working somehow. It's just kind of like the entire ethos of vibe coded slop software. But anyway,
I mean, we at some point we'll have to revisit the whole like process of how we sort of digest and willfully read all the sort of code that it generates, but a conversation for another time. I'm kind of curious, right? With this idea, like everybody buying Mac Minis and all this absurd, there's almost like the weird new version of a tulip thing, but like, and then for what do they buy this for, right? For like a dedicated machine that does all that will be available to you, for which then you iMessage to, or you Telegram to, or whatever, right? You message to, and like it will do something that somehow has access to your stuff, whatever stuff you give it access to, right? Like that's the general idea behind OpenClaw, right? You're basically giving the agent powers to do things for you at your behest, right? Make an order Uber Eats or something, or do some kind of combination of like comparison shopping with like all the airlines, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? But in order for that to work well, at least in the original iteration, you needed Claude code? Or you need an account
OpenClaw?
For OpenClaw.
Well, you need some kind of LLM harness. So yeah, Claude code was like the one that was the best one.
That was the popular one.
I mean, you could use Codex, but for that kind of thing, it still seems like the Claude Opus models work best. And of course, if you're going to use Opus, then you have to use Claude Code. I'm not even sure if Anthropic is banning people or not for using OpenClaw. I don't know. Anthropic's, and so that's a whole other thing we get into about their accounts and stuff. But people were using Claude Code. They were using Claude Code.
So it had me wondering, right? WWDC is coming up, right? That's another announcement that happened a couple days ago. WWDC is June. What was it? June 5th to the 8th, or is it? I'm trying to.
It is the week before my cruise, so I am like not going to be in work for 2 weeks in June because I'm going to be going to this
the week before.
my cruise.
You know these things have the worst timing. So the 8th to the 12th.
No, it's better than being on my cruise because then I'd be in the middle of the ocean. I wouldn't be able to follow the updates.
You're
like a
sure?
Crazy person.
Sure, you just have to pay the insane cruise prices.
I got internet for my phone, but then I'd have to buy extra if I wanted to really watch.
Oh my goodness, they're per devices. That's crazy.
They're per device. It's per device for each day. So I'm like, I got it for my phone. Like that's about it.
And trust me, it's not the fastest thing. I guarantee.
No, exactly. So I'm like, I don't want to even try with anything else. I don't want to bring my laptop either.
You would maybe be able to download like a quarter of like Xcode betas.
Yeah, I'm not bringing my laptop or anything. So I'm going to be out there itching to code and not going to be able to. But that is
okay. It's for the best. And trust me, when you're on that boat, you won't care. I guarantee you will not care.
So, but yeah, WWDC did get announced, and so you were thinking.
So I was thinking, it got me on the sort of path of thinking, like a curiosity of sorts. What is to stop Apple? Because one of the big limitations of this whole harness is, I guess it's like the system, right? Like you'd want to own the entire infrastructure, right? Because you have to, but Apple has all the pieces in place to do that. Like they have iMessage. They have, the Macs and the Minis, and, they have everything's being done on those things, right? They have the browser. They could technically build an operating system or update the operating system to do all these things that you could have done with OpenClaw, and then say, now from the power of iMessage, exclusive, secure, yada, yada, privacy, yada, yada. We'll call it like Open Apple or something.
AppleClaw,
something like that.
They got to stop with the claws.
No. Yeah.
You want things that claw. You know, after no.
Molten Apple. I don't know.
Molten Apple. It would be something like, it would be something weird like with Siri in the name. I'm sure.
Liquid metal. No. It was Siri. Oh yeah, that's a good point. It'd be like Siri. Oh, okay, Siri.
You said the thing.
Everybody's HomePod just went off.
Dingus. What should we? Dingus bot or something, right?
Dingus assistant. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Dingus assist, like Swift assist, but it'll be Siri assist.
Yeah, and you just type your things like, "Okay, I need you to, I don't know, generate my, do my taxes for me."
Dingus Claw.
That's never gonna happen.
That'll never happen.
Go through my system, get all my bank accounts, download all my stuff, generate my report, submit to TurboTax, go, or submit all my itemized.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm not
like, it could probably do it, but I wouldn't trust the
of course not,
of any of it.
I mean, I joke.
That's assuming anybody's reviewing it, so it might be fine.
But you mean...
we need a PR review for your taxes.
Didn't Android just had some kind of Gemini, I guess, screen thing?
Okay.
I can't keep track of what any of this stuff is called. Didn't they just had some kind of AI feature that got released where it was like able to do things for you, and I don't remember what it's called. But
they still have to, as sort of like, if any of those parts in that pipeline decides they don't want to participate in it, like Claude, like in the original case of OpenClaw, they were like, Claude was like, yeah, no, we don't like what you're doing, right? Like, I can pull the plug anytime, versus like, and even Apple to some degree might be able to be like, hey, that doesn't quite fit our ethos, so we don't like that either. But you could consider like getting back to one of our more popular episodes, Universal AI.
That's right. Universal UI.
Right. Universal UI. I'm sorry. Right. This would be like the first step for this evolution of an operating system.
I mean, I just said, if Android already is taking these steps of having like their personal assistant, an LLM integrated with some of the apps so you can have it do things. But I still think Apple is really well positioned if they can pull off the LLM part. That's the thing that's been holding them back. They have the app intents. They already had the ability for you to trigger actions from Siri, but people didn't really do it because it was unreliable, I think, because you had to be really specific about the and so they have all this stuff. If they pull it off, I mean, I think that we'll be able to, probably at first pretty simple, but be able to ask it to do things and then have it find the right app you have installed to do the thing with, and bring up and then there's, what are those UI? Well, they have widgets, but then the the UI, the thing no one used, it came out during the pandemic, where you could just bring up a little piece of user interface about the app being installed.
No, app clips.
App clips. It's like, I feel like it's more like widgets probably, but like the app clip kind of thing, where I imagine that you'll be able to expose features, expose user UI elements. I mean, and then through the app intents and stuff, and then have it all kind of come together in a workflow. You have shortcuts already, like all the pieces are there, and I don't know exactly how you'd want to put them all together, and how Apple wants to do it. But I feel like they're gonna do something cool. I think it's gonna be a cool little interface. I think it's gonna be, if it works, it'll be really useful. And it'll be on more phones than anybody. Like, it'll be on more devices than anyone has for something like simplified OpenClaw kind of thing. Because it may exist on Android, but it's not necessarily on every device.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of one of those things where, like, I think Apple would probably be very cautious about how they roll these kind of things out. I mean, they've been like cautious for like ever. Well, so,
but that's why I feel like the app intents or something like that, that's the avenue, because that gives you that control that Apple craves. And, it gives you a just very controlled mechanism to expose functionality, and you're not just sending context willy-nilly, like just to an LM. It's not like OpenClaw, where it's kind of the wild west there of how that stuff works. You're not going to like read a SQLite database on your Mac Mini raw in order to access messages or something. It's like, you're not doing stuff like that, with Apple's APIs. You're not going to raw dog the SQLite database with
no. I mean, they can certainly try. I think so. Okay, well, that was sort of my, like, I don't know, my abstract thoughts about this idea.
You think DubDub is going to have? I think they are. I think they're going to debut something like that. I mean, they have to, right? I mean, it's been 2 years now. Has it been? It's been like a while now.
I mean,
iPhone 15, right?
Yeah. So they need to show, and they just when they announced WWDC, then they kind of hinted at exciting APIs for, like, say, AI stuff. So we will see. But they have to do it. This is like the year. They have to show something.
I don't think there's going to be much of. I don't want to get into predictions because I want to save that for episode, that's a later episode. So just a little tease for everyone.
But this whole.
But I think it's fair to say, like, upgrade Siri with like Gemini backend is probably going to be one of the highlight items of, like, maybe they figure out like a humorous way to, like, get around, like, the fact that everyone is, like, pissed off at Siri, but, like, useful Siri would be, like, the highlight of, like,
so I was
with the integrated app intent. Oh, good.
Yeah, I was reading a report. Apparently, Apple supposedly has full access to Gemini on their own servers, so they can distill it and make distilled models that'll run on less resources. So that, like, they have full capabilities here to try to make that into something actually useful. Because I'm sorry, but nobody cares. Nobody uses Gemini. Okay, nobody programs with Gemini for sure, but, like, anymore. I like the
what
Flash
happened.
models.
It was like everybody loved it for 2 minutes.
Yeah,
that's well, that's how it goes. Like, every 2 weeks, there's a new drop, right? And then that's a new favorite best model ever.
Drop.
A new drop every 2 weeks. A new model drop.
It's almost like
Races
a battle rap or
all
something.
The utility of all the old.
It's like a new diss track.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this today, because it's like the people will be like, oh, we're all in on the latest model, right? And, like, the old model is complete trash now or something. And it's like, but like a year ago, you were using the old model, or several versions ago, the old model, and you thought that was great. And then the open source, like the Chinese models that are just stealing all the IP from Anthropic and OpenAI to make them or whatever they're doing, all those models are like catching up to the older models you used to think were so great. So at some point, you're going to be able to run something good enough on your own computer or something, or a Mac Mini or whatever. And I think Apple might actually be. This is like way out there. This is not a prediction. This is like, we're talking about wishing.
Yes,
I'm hoping they make a distilled model. I'm hoping they make like a local model that you could run on maybe a beefy MacBook Pro that would be useful in Xcode.
Because you have to think like,
I don't know. And maybe it goes out to the server, Apple Intelligence server when necessary or something. But it would be nice. Beef up. The more they could beef up the local models, the more advantage Apple has, because they're, especially in the age when all the components are so expensive. You buy like the Apple computer, and now I can do more inference on my.
So they're going to
machine.
have like a checkbox in Xcode, like download max model. That'll be 500 gigs.
Probably something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. Why wouldn't they?
It's like, you look like you look like you barely have enough space. Okay. Why don't you get the max model?
So the newest chips, I saw some tests run on this. So the new M5 like chips with the like the Max chips, whatever, the chips with they have this whatever they're calling the neural interface. The GPUs have these like, TPU processors or something built in. They have they increase the speed at which I think the LLM can like process the data coming in. It doesn't make it a whole lot faster with the tokens coming out, but the processing that happens before the generation of the tokens, that's a lot faster. And so you can like give it a big bunch of like PDFs or something, and you can have it actually process that stuff locally and not take forever, and then give you results at a reasonable speed. Like I saw people running local models on like, it wasn't like a 128 gig, it was probably like a 32 or 64 gig, laptop. And wow. And they were able to run like, they're smaller models, but they were able to like run okay, do useful tasks.
Do we have any? Do you know like the parameters of those models? Are they like a Kimi K model?
A few billion. Like it depends how much memory you have, but
because I think like the foundation model. I think the foundation is just 3.8. So we're talking like,
that's really small.
Like 30. Yeah, that's really small.
I think you can get up to around 30 or something.
30.
Maybe. I think you probably get up to 30. It depends on how much RAM you have, really. But what I'm saying is they're putting that effort and they're talking about it. They're talking about local AI stuff. But what are they showing for? They don't have a product except Apple Intelligence stuff, which is not developer focused. So like, I think they're going to offer something. Maybe it won't be a WW, maybe it will be.
Will they give us more storage for these models? That's the thing.
Well, they gave us more storage. They made us all buy 2 terabytes at least if you buy an M5 Max.
That's true.
Yeah, so maybe that's why.
You're going to need more than that for to hold these models.
Not for the it depends on how quantized you want it. Like you can get much smaller models that are useful.
No, I'm saying if you want to have anything left for your own stuff, you don't want
if you just download all the models, yeah.
One thing that I feel like they're probably going to offer as a service is Xcode Cloud, but like an AI version of that service. If you know what I mean. So Xcode Cloud is the service that where like they give you a decent like,
So you're saying they're going to have a cloud-based coding agent?
Yes.
Well, I think they will. I think it'll be like the Apple Intelligence thing where it goes.
But they charge you a premium for it.
Yeah, and then it goes to cloud, and you'll probably have X amount of like cloud usage, and it'll be part.
No, but can you like spin up your whole Xcode Cloud environment and then have the agent go work on a PR for you?
I think that will definitely come. I think it's going to come. I don't see why not. Apple is like, I think they got the religion, or they got the bug, or they got one shot, or whatever you want to say. They got terrified of losing market share. Whatever you want to say.
They need some of that token.
But if all of this has to run on their own infrastructure, do they have enough?
No, nobody has enough.
They got their Mac Studios. The Mac Studio racks. Have you seen Marco Arment's 48 Mac Mini rack he has? In
48?
Marco Arment?
Yeah, and in the latest ATP podcast, he has like a whole segment of like transcoding all his podcast, all the podcasts that has ever existed.
He has a rack of Mac Minis or Mac.
There's a funny story where he starts doing like one Mac Mini and like an M4 Mac Mini, and he's like he buys one and he buys two and then he buys five and then he buys like he's like starting to like I was like, oh, I gotta like obviously I have to store them somewhere. I can't have them in the basement of my house, right?
Okay,
and so
yeah,
like,
then you need a rack. You need a home lab.
So he gets a rack and he's like, and then he's like, oh well, data centers don't do anything less than like 50 or something, like like a full mount rack, right? Of like, so he needs at
50?
least somewhere like no, he has like 45 or 48.
He has
I forgot
45 Mac Minis. I'm gonna have to listen to this episode. He has 45 Mac Minis.
Yes,
but like
all for transcoding. Well, not just for transcoding, but like
how does he even power them? I mean, at some point
how do you cool them?
And cool them. I mean,
no, he has a separate. Like he eventually decided like he was going to send that.
He got an electrician to come in and.
No, he got it into a data center basically.
Okay, I gotta listen to this episode. Every little bit you're dropping here is like what is happening?
It's like why do you
rent space in a data center?
Yeah, yes, he did.
That's expensive, isn't it? Because it's not a standard rack.
Yes.
Okay. I got to listen to this episode, but it does dovetail to the point I think we're all kind of around here. There's a mixture of cloud and local inference capabilities. So one thing, if you like PewDiePie, for instance, recently, PewDiePie from YouTube fame, he built his own AI server and stuff, and he had some great videos about it, and he made his own model that beat GPT, one of the GPTs and one of the benchmarks.
GPT 4.1 or something like that.
Fun. But he has this model, and it uses his computer uses a ton of electricity. I've also heard this from other people. I heard an offhanded remark, I think in one of the latest videos by Theo of like T3,
fame.
And he was like, it said it costs him hundreds of dollars a month in electricity to run local inference on his machine.
I thought he had said it was 1,000, but
I don't know. It's a lot. It could be a lot of money if you were trying to build a for real local inference rig. It could be. You have to think of the electricity costs are expensive. Now, here's where Apple has the advantage. They're so power efficient that you can get really useful inference on the smaller models on just a MacBook Pro or Mac Mini or Mac Studio. If you get 4 or 45 Mac Minis, apparently, you can link them together and get really useful inference, and you're still, maybe 45 is a lot for your home, but you can definitely get 4 of them and not be breaking the bank, not overloading your outlet. You're not going to, like PewDiePie melted a cable because he didn't have the right gauge electrical cable, and he almost burned down his house. So, but you could get like 4 Mac Minis, and I don't think they don't pull as much as you would think, even at max load. And that's where Apple's advantage is in a world where you're trying to mix and match local and cloud, because I think we're entering the end of the subsidy era. It's like beginning very slowly. Like eventually, you're just not going to be able to buy as much inference for $200 a month.
Maybe someday we'll be able to afford a Mac Mini cluster.
Yeah, once we can afford our Studio XDR monitors.
Yeah, right. One step at a time. All right, we have to.
Wait,
we
say we want MacBook Neo money
3,500
first. That's what we want. MacBook
Wait,
Neo money.
how much is the XDR again? Is that like 35?
$200 something, $2,300.
Depends if you got a stand or not.
No, the XDR monitor comes with a stand.
Oh, right.
But you pay the same amount of money to remove the stand, whereas you pay extra to have a stand on the regular studio display. So
makes sense.
Why they can't make the freaking stands detachable? Like I do not understand. I pisses me off. Whatever.
That will require ugly screws.
Yeah. But what's really funny, if you get the VESA mount, you just have this ugly thing slapped on the back of the monitor. Like Apple was like, we got to support VESA. We don't want to, but we're going to support it. They just put a freaking piece of metal on the back and it covers up the Apple logo because they didn't care that it all lines up.
Like, why would
really
you bother? Although I hear like one of the interesting things is
stand. I want to put it on ARM. If I got a studio display, I want to put it on ARM because you get actual adjustability, which is actually important in a place like I live where the floor is not level. So depending on where I put my desk.
It's actually kind of funny. Like you'd be surprised like where those monitors are actually considered pretty cheap. And one of them is like, I think it's like the EKG labs or something, where they have like these high resolution monitors that cost like 10, 20. No, they have these monitors that really proprietary monitors of high resolution that's like $20,000 or something per monitor.
A lot of that is like, it has to be super color accurate.
Color accurate.
So you can use like the XDR as a reference monitor for certain things. Supposedly, you could do that with the old XDR supposedly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there are specialty monitors that are very expensive. But for most people day to day, you don't need that. Now we're getting the monitor talk for some reason.
Yeah.
We did that already. That was last week.
We did already. Although, what is the update on your monitor situation?
Now we're good. Now we're just skipping. Okay.
We only have time for this. So.
I have not decided yet. Okay. I'm kind of torn, probably being reasonable and not wanting to spend many, many thousands of dollars. The XDR is kind of probably out of the question just because it's like I want it, and it's okay. Let me start over. I went to the Apple Store. Okay. I went to the Apple Store and looked at these monitors. And let me tell you something. Two things. Let's talk first about the two monitors and glossy versus nano texture. So there is a difference between the Studio Display and the Studio Display XDR when you just look at them. It doesn't seem that way, but all you got to do is look at like blacks, for instance, or HDR. There's no HDR support on a Studio Display. So you go over to one of them. They have the Photos app. You bring up the Photos app and you can play like an HDR video and you immediately see it. It's really quite good HDR playback. And that's like a minor thing, but it's actually cool. The blacks on the XDR display are like, they're not maybe like OLED black, but they were really black. Like I guess just because of the way the panel can have the lighting zones. So it looks really nice. Like it does look better in these edge cases. Like if you're looking at HDR, like if you play an HDR video on the Studio Display, everything just kind of like, and this is their demo videos, like that are in the Photos app. Like everything is just kind of like washed out a little bit because there is no HDR and everything. It's just a solid backlight, so you can't really distinguish. They can't really make the light areas brighter and the black areas darker. So everything just kind of it's not great. You look at it on the XDR. So if you need HDR, I mean, obviously you have to get the XDR display. Like it's probably the best looking HDR I've ever seen on a monitor. Like, I mean, look, the fact that you can get like, was it 2,000 nits or something? That's where it comes in. It's not like it's blinding you with like a white screen at 2,000 nits, or whatever. It's able to have those little zones light up, and so you're watching a video in the Photos app. You're like, damn, that looks good. It's like you can see real shadows. It looks like very much more realistic. Anyway, that was the thing. And it's the same resolution, but there's something about, I think, the backlight. Is it because it's like, was it micro LED or something? It's just looks better. It's not like it's necessarily a lot better color, like to your naked eye, like color representation or something. But I just kind of immediately was like, oh, looks better. Like it's day to day, you probably wouldn't notice it if you had just one of them. But if you had them side by side, you definitely would. It is beautiful, but it's also like so freaking expensive. But you kind of understand why. So then I also looked at the regular Studio Display, which is still there, and I looked at glossy versus nano texture, and I can't get over how nano texture makes everything look like it's fuzzy to me. It works really well. But I feel like on the big monitor anyway, I just have never liked it. And it's not, and the problem is the glossy is really glossy and like it's annoying. Like I have a window behind me and I have an older monitor though. And it's like, yeah, you can see reflections. You kind of tune them out in your head, but I can totally see the nano texture works. It's just, would I want to have that kind of annoying cleaning situation? But mainly everything looks, immediately I look at it in the Apple Store. I'm like, oh, that's fuzzy. And it's not fuzzy. It's that there's a freaking etched texture in the glass. So all the light gets scattered a little bit coming out of the display. And I just can't unsee it. I mean, I mean, maybe if you sat there long enough, you would. But just looking at the desktop, I was like squinting my eyes. I'm like, is there something wrong? But no, it was not. You go look at the glossy display, and it's just like, boom. Everything's super sharp and bright and colorful. And so I'll just go with the glossy display. So knowing this, that my preference is is glossy display, this really limits my options. I either get a Studio Display regular, unless I want to break the bank, which is it's kind of on sale right now for $100 less if you get on Amazon. So I get the VESA mount one, get a VESA mount for like $200 or something. You're basically price of a Studio Display.
Okay. Or
the one monitor that seems to be available right now or about to come out is that one we talked about from BenQ. That's meant for Macs, the like MAS one or whatever. It's a 270 or something, and that one is like has its own kind of glossy screen. And that one's $1,000 right now, and so it's kind of between those two essentially on a monitor because nothing else.
I'm sorry. When you say between those two, it's not like you're going to get both of them. You're only going to
No.
pick one.
Yeah, I thought about getting 2 monitors because you have a BOGO sale for 20% off on that one. But that's a lot of monitor, and then it's a lot of. I don't have a lot of space. You probably don't need 2. If I want 2, I probably want a smaller one.
It's not about.
No. I think I want 2 monitors, but I would like maybe a smaller monitor to be vertical because a 27. Anyway, we talked about this. The point is, it's kind of between those 2 monitors and whether I want to pay the extra to have the built-in stuff. The build quality and the camera and the speakers and stuff are actually useful. When you look at the monitors, when people pick them up, or if you look at them in an Apple store, they have a uniform width and the power supply is built into them. And I think they're only 11, 12 pounds when they don't have a stand, the studio displays. And then you look at the ones from the third-party manufacturers, and they're usually heavier even without the stand, and they are not a uniform thickness in the back generally, and they're made of plastic and stuff. And you're like, how did Apple build this? And you know what I mean? Or why is it Apple's the only one that does this? Because if they can charge a premium, why doesn't anybody else build this? And there is something to be said that sometimes you just want that Apple quality and the integration. And that's the other thing. I'm used to a Thunderbolt display, and BenQ does seem to have the best looking software for simulating that. But their display technically has some better specs, but not by a lot, by a little bit. So it's Apple might get me. They're close to getting me. I was looking at arms. I was looking at monitor arms because I really don't want to spend a extra $400 for a freaking stand. Although it is a nice stand, it's just it's not worth $400. So not my view. Although if you're going to get a stand one, just get that one. Just suck it up. Hold your nose.
Yep.
So that's my update. I have not done it, not purchased it yet, but we're basically between that one BenQ and a regular studio display, and I'm probably leaning slightly towards. I don't know. It depends how much money I want to spend.
Any suggestion, Aaron?
Aaron, what do you think?
Normally you're the voice of reason, but this one, for some surprising reason,
you
actually
get the XDR.
If I come back to this Todd and say I got the XDR, Aaron's just gonna laugh.
I would blame Aaron. You blame.
I might. I want the XDR. I mean, if you guys have not seen the XDR display in person, you should go to the Apple Store.
I'm very scared too.
And you have to look at HDR content or something. You have to kind of pixel peep a little bit, and then it's just kind of you're like, oh my god, this is a beautiful display. It just, I kind of got this chill looking at it. Like, this is the nicest looking display I've ever seen in my entire life up close. And I was like,
I don't know.
That's how Apple gets you, man. But in this case, their technology, the pricing they have for that display is actually reasonable in the market today for the XDR. Is arguably not at all reasonable for the regular studio display unless you take into account the intangibles of build quality, blah, 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 which is very subjective. But technology-wise, not really. There's better displays.
Okay. Well, we decided that we were going to keep this a very tight show. So we're going to have this. This will be it for today. You can learn more about Philly Cocoa at phillycocoa.org. There you'll find links to our Slack group, meetup schedule, and contact info. If you're feeling generous, please leave a review on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or whatever your podcast platform of choice is, and share us with all your developer friends. And one more thing. Okay, this, I actually was originally going to push AppJohn again, but I am going to switch it up a bit. Azam Sharp has a book coming out. Our good friend. So azamsharp.com, where he is going to talk about patterns and practice for building scalable apps, the practical guide to building SwiftUI SwiftUI apps that stays clean as they grow. If you go to azamsharp.school, AZAM sharp.school/SwiftUI-architecture-book HTML. We'll have the links in the show notes.
I think so.
You will be able to download. You'll be able to buy it for $39, and you can download it and enjoy at your leisure. So hopefully, maybe we'll even get Azam here to give us some tips of his own that we can learn from. Maybe soon. So with that said. Yeah. With that said, till next time, good luck on your own developer journey. We will cheer for you always.
Wait, are we still recording? Oh, I thought we were done.